Hello and welcome to another vlog by me, Alex Belfield, here at celebrityradio.biz, where we just hit 65 million minutes viewed on YouTube. We're the number one reviewer in the UK and Las Vegas. And today we're updating a story about Joe Purdy, Joseph Purdy Productions. We've been trolled quite a lot this week by people who look like 12-year-old girls who seemingly have penises. Yes, it seems like all Joe Purdy's friends seem to be of a certain ilk. Maybe these people are, let's say, fans, common law assistants, or let's call them right-hand men. Nevertheless, as we go to print this evening, can you believe he's cancelled yet another show? Rapunzel cancels at the Victoria Bolton Halls, this village hall that he used at Christmas, where he cancelled most of those shows too. Nothing changes, does it? So he's cancelled Jungle Book, he's cancelled Rapunzel, and yet manages to sell out Britain's biggest theatre, the Liverpool Empire. Developments in the last week have been very interesting. We went to review his Cinderella with an S in Sheffield, which was the most insulting abomination of a set and production that I've ever seen in a professional theatre, with just 3 cloths, 3 curtains. This was the size of the show. Alas, he was bragging that he'd booked the biggest theatre in England, the Liverpool Empire, which he had, and said that it had sold out, which it had. But it turns out he's hired a Purdy Pantomimes set, the one that was originally built for Bradford, I believe, for simply one performance of Cinderella. The rest had just cloths. Now, if you're ever doubting that I have accused this man of being a cheat and a liar, this is a good example of what Joe Purdy does. He hires a film crew and a kudos beautiful set for Liverpool and pretends that this is the scale of the show that Cinderella has been for the last month or so on the road, with his fellas in frocks trying to be funny with F-bomb humour. The reality is he had a white van and a tour bus for the entire tour other than Liverpool, and he's now bragging that on the back of the Liverpool sellout show he has got a contract with ATG Theatres. Well, unfortunately for Joe, he's dropped himself in it again, because ATG Theatres don't actually offer contracts to do anything. They basically sell their space if they want to have you in. Now, what may have happened on the back of the success in Liverpool is that ATG have said, yes, of course you can come to Wimbledon and Woking and all the other places that are mostly empty and try your show there. What will be interesting next year when he puts on his adult pantomime, which I'm sure he will, is whether he invests in a kudos set again, or whether now he's got the gig or rips off audiences who are paying the same price across the UK and then try and distract with some very cleverly worded social media. You won't pull the wool over my eyes, Joe. It's interesting, he had one review from the Mirror who loved it, a young lady who went to see his show, and she's entitled to love it. I work for the same newspaper as a writer and have done for nearly 10 years. I've never heard of her, curiously, and it would be interesting to know her qualifications in reviewing any theatrical production. I noticed there have been no other reviews from anyone credible at all, as he doesn't let them in, which again was very clever manipulation on his part, that he took one invited guest who he gave a free ticket to and plastered that review everywhere, yet had no reviewers in any of his local shows anywhere else. Sounds like a scaredy cat to me. Now let's move on to Jungle Book, which is another interesting scam that Joe Purdy is pulling. It turns out that he's using a ghost system to get in theatres now, using Adam Cookson as his producer of these shows, when in fact it's him who's behind it, financing it, paying for it, and all the rest of the gubbins. It's interesting. I've had 3 calls about Adam in the last week, and it seems we need to be more worried about this guy than we do Joe Purdy. That's saying something. Hugely concerning reports about Adam Cookson, details of which we'll go into at a later date. We know he's another weasel, having sat slagging Joe Purdy off to my face less than 3 months ago. Interesting. So Panto wars continue, and the shenanigans continue to go unreported other than at Celebrity Radio. These young little boys who want to send me offensive messages, tweets, Facebook messages, and at YouTube can continue to do so in defence of Joe Purdy. The claims that I'm homophobic are quite ludicrous. I love my home. And the insanity that I'm harassing or somehow bullying Joe Purdy is laughable, considering he's one of the biggest crooks of his generation in terms of theatre. And that's not my opinion. That is proven by a simple Google search. What people like Joe Purdy don't realise is they're setting back pantomime 500 years by ripping off audiences, charging £27 a ticket and giving them a 3-cloth production. Thinking you can get away with putting a kudos set into the Liverpool Empire and no one noticing the difference is frankly laughable. Shame on Kudos for having such little self-respect that they're willing to accept their 5 to 10 grand from a man who is trying to pull the wool over the public's eyes like Joe Purdy. Why am I surprised? So a little clarification for you there, and we'll continue to do so. Mr. Purdy can tweet whatever he likes about his success. The reality is he can also claim to be going into the West End. Unfortunately, the last time he was at the Shaw Theatre, the shows were 80% empty. He had 3 in one day. If he'd have put the entire audiences of the 3 shows in one show, it still would have been half empty. That's not my opinion. That is the facts based on the grids that we Googled just before the performance. I will give Joe Purdy some kudos in the fact that he booked Gino D'Acampo, the drag queen, before knowing that she was going to be on Drag Race in the UK, which I think sold most of these tickets. The problem Joe's got next year is if he wants this man-woman back, he's going to have to pay double, triple, which I think will leave him out of pocket. Let's not deny the fact he will have earned £50,000 from the Liverpool Empire. Even after paying for the set and £4.50 for the cast, there's still a lot of money there to pay off his other debts from his previous flops. This is Joe Purdy's biggest hit, and he's putting it out next year. The problem he's going to have, though, is can he put on a show on the scale of Liverpool and do it successfully? And can he get a cast that people want to see? Because you cannot do the same thing again. And even if he does, these people will want at least double or triple money. What amazes me about Joe Purdy is he's pretending to be a 747 when in fact he's a little fucker. The problem with what he's trying to do by punching above his weight is just exposing all of his weaknesses. And if only he kept his gob shut like today with the ATG, a magnificent contract that somehow makes us believe that he's going to be a billionaire by next year because they signed him up. That's not how ATG work. These are people who, when you walk through the door, if you want a cup of coffee, they add $4.50 on your bill. And if you want to wipe your ass in the toilet, they'll charge you £3 for a toilet roll. They're not going to give him anything. He'll have to give them 30% of what he earns, probably, maybe 40%, to get in their theatres. So if I were him, I'd be quiet, because he's still got to get people through the doors and make a profit for him to feed himself and his boyfriend Troy, who went on last night as Buttons because the guy wasn't available. I'd have paid good money to see that. There's a thing called Company's House. We'll see in April how you did. I don't know whether ghosting a show is a criminal offence, but it's certainly deceptive and hugely worrying that he's putting in Joe Purdy Productions, and the cast don't even realise that it's Joe Purdy Productions because Adam Cookson is making out that it's his show. Do the theatres know this? Do the shows know this? I mean, even the music for Cinderella, we don't know whether he's paid the rights to use it because he certainly didn't ask the guy who wrote the music. This is all very sneaky, but what Joe doesn't realise, everything he does is in the public domain, including his accounts at Company's House. We look forward to bringing those to you in the coming months. Wasn't it Mel Brooks who said you can make more money with a flop than a hit? Didn't that guy end up going to jail? You've got to be very careful when you're up to these shenanigans. You can't get away with anything in 2020, and we're watching you. And we thank you for letting us know what's going on. If you have any updates or news, and we thank you for them over the last few months, we appreciate them. You can send them via direct message, via email, or social media. And of course, you have our 100% discretion. Adam Cookson, Joe Purdy, we're watching you. You're not going to get away with it. Ta-ra.